Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an awesome honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, all that good stuff. And, of course, it's Comic-Con Eve. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con starts tomorrow night with, of course, preview night. Ann and I are going to drive up to San Diego tomorrow, right after we're done the John Campea Show in the morning. And then I'll be doing the rest of my videos from San Diego for the rest of the week. And I'm all excited. It's going to be so great. I'm really looking forward to it. And, of course, guys, don't forget, for any of you who are going to be at Comic-Con this year, of course, my panel, Masters of the Web, is happening on Friday. We're talking about starting and growing your own YouTube channel for online fandom to talk about movies and TV shows and your favorite things in the world, how to get started, some keys and tricks to getting things developed, how to be a positive influence on the fan community, all that kind of good stuff. Once again, it's going to be Friday at 11 a.m. at the Neil Morgan Auditorium at the San Diego Central Library, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. Now, we got a whole bunch of things lined up that we need to talk about today. MoviePass again drops to a new all-time low in its stock shares. We're talking about the new Dune movie and how an Academy Award nominee has just been now in negotiations to star in the Dune movie. We got a new poster for Aquaman, all that kind of good stuff. But before we get to any of that, let's go right off the top with this. A brand new full trailer dropped this morning for the upcoming Queen film, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, of course, kind of a teaser trailer dropped a number of weeks ago. Had a little bit of controversy surrounding it. I thought it looked pretty solid. Saw this new trailer, and you know what? Here's the interesting thing about this trailer. I have never counted myself as a Queen fan. I don't mind Queen, but I've never really counted myself as a Queen fan. I'm watching this trailer this morning, right? I'm watching this trailer, and I'm hearing all the music that's playing it. I'm hearing all the songs that are playing it. And I stopped for a second and went, no, wait, I am a Queen fan. Like, you're just realizing, oh yeah, all this incredible music. But the trailer looks fantastic. It looks really, really good. And it hits all the right notes, no pun intended. It hits all the right notes for a first full trailer. Like, it gives you the underdog story. No one will ever play Queen and all that kind of stuff. They give you a little bit of taste of the formation of the band. They go into some of the personal stuff of Freddie Mercury. They go to the big heights and success of Queen. Some of the relationship dynamics between the band members. I love the fact, too, one of the things that I really liked about it was that they played up the other members of Queen. Like, one of the things I was a little bit worried about with the Bohemian Rhapsody was that it would just all focus on Freddie Mercury 100% and ignore all the stuff about the band that made up Queen. And it seems to me like this trailer kind of emphasizes the point that, no, it's about Freddie Mercury, but it's also about Queen. And I really like the fact that the trailer played up the other band members in the group as well. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good look. So the music was great. They hit all the proper notes for what a trailer like this should hit. They got into the Freddie stuff. They got into the band stuff. I'm telling you what, we talk about this all the time. The job of a movie trailer is to take your excitement level for a film, wherever it is, no matter how high it is, no matter how low it is, and raise it up. This Bohemian Rhapsody trailer did it. It took my anticipation level for this movie and raised it up. And it raised it up a significant amount. So I got to say, I thought the trailer was great. I'm more excited today to see this movie than I was yesterday. And that's all you can ask a trailer to do. So good job, folks. That's a solid trailer. I believe the movie comes out in November. So let the countdown begin for Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, with that out of the way, before we get to the main topics today, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Of course, every day here on the John Campea Show, we have a question of the day. And yesterday's question of the day was surrounding Scarlett Johansson and her decision to step down from the rub and tug role, leaving us to wonder if they're even going to make the movie anymore and stuff like that. But anyway, the question of the day was it a good move? Was it the right move for Scarlett Johansson to step down for that? And I'll be honest with you, the results surprised me. I thought everybody would vote against me, but it looks like no, it was a wrong move for her to step down wins a tiny, tiny majority. No, it was the wrong move to step down, got 44.44% of you to vote for it. Yes, it was the right move for her to step down, got 40.37% of your vote, and a pure I don't care got 15.19% of the vote. So once again, I'm actually kind of surprised this time around. You guys actually voted along with me on no, it was the wrong move for her to step down. But, it was very, very close. Thank you so much, guys, for participating in that. And, of course, we have another question of the day today surrounding Alita Battle Angel, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Okay, now with all that stuff down, it's time for us to go to our main topics and issues of the day. Where do we get our main topics? We get them from you guys. How do you submit a topic or a question to be one of the main topics in the John Campea Show? It's simple. You just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. Again, email me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line and keep your emails to 90 words or less. All right, let's go to the first main topic today. And the first main topic today comes to us from, where does it come to us from? Genaro Fortosse, who writes, have you seen the Uncharted online fan film that has Nathan Fillion and Stephen Lang in it? I know it's just a simple online fan film and we tend to overpraise those, but hot damn, I thought it was excellent. Do you think there's any chance a studio sees it and decides to do a full feature film of it if enough fans respond to it? All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. And yes, for those of you who have not seen the Uncharted fan film that's now online, you gotta go check it out. You gotta go see it. Like it said in the email, you've got Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, and surprising, I had no idea, Stephen Lang, Slang himself, is in it. I am a big fan of Stephen Lang. Absolutely huge fan of Stephen Lang. He was perfectly cast. I'll tell you what, I think Stephen Lang was better casting than even Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake in this thing. It was perfect. I'm not going to tell you what. This little fan film, 15 minutes long, was great. And it was a great representation of the game. Snarky one-liners, historical references, action, the interchanging dialogue stuff. It was not just a great little fan film. It was a perfect fan film of an Uncharted thing. They even do a little bit, thankfully they didn't do much, where they switch to a camera behind his back when he's getting into a gunfight, much like the game cinematics. So that looked pretty cool. I mean, if you did it in a feature film, it would probably come across as cheesy, but in a fan film, it worked really well. It was great. And, for many years, a lot of people have thought that Nathan Fillion was the guy to play Nathan Drake. He is probably the window on that's probably closed. He's probably a little old for it now. He's 47 years old. I don't know that you can start a new franchise with him there. Maybe you could. I don't know. But we can't forget that there's also Sony already has a Uncharted movie in the works. All right. And it's got, I believe it's Sean Levy who is directing it. And he directed Real Steel. And he directed a lot of Stranger Things. Also, you got Tom Holland. They're going for a much younger Nathan Drake. So you got Tom Holland in there. Rumor has it Bryan Cranston may be coming on board for that as well. So it already looks like they've got an Uncharted movie coming. So when the question is asked, could this fan film motivate the studio to do a movie? Well, not of this, but they're already doing an Uncharted film. So it looks like that's happening. Now, the one thing I would want to caution everybody on is this. First of all, this fan film is amazing, but it is just a fan film. And we tend to overpraise the fan stuff we see on YouTube. I remember do you guys remember a little while ago, there was this Power Rangers fan film that had a couple of the original cast members and it was very dark and gritty. And everybody acted like it was the second coming. And I watched it and I'm like, it's okay. I mean, if I had made it, it would be unbelievable. If I had made it, that would be unbelievable. But if judging it on a scale on if I made it or if you made it, it's incredible. But by Hollywood standards, it was meh. But everybody lost their minds for it. And I think we do have a tendency to do that for short little things we see online. Also, keep this in mind. This is the main thing to me. It is 10,000% easier to make a short 10 or 15 minute thing look great than it is to make a motion picture look great. There's a reason why there are so many amazing trailers to terrible movies, because it's easy to make something look great in a small little package. That's why so many horrible movies have fantastic looking trailers, because it's a hell of a lot easier to make something really short look great than it is to make a full-length feature film look great. So I see a few people online going, this fan film is the best video game movie ever made. I'm like, oh, okay, let's. First of all, it's amazing. I love it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. They made a great looking 15-minute online fan film. That's great. That's a totally different thing from actually making a good feature film. It's a totally different thing. It's a lot easier. It's so easy comparatively to make a 15-minute thing look great than it is to make a motion picture look great. So let's just keep that in mind. But with that in mind, I do gotta say, holy crap, it was awesome. It was so fun to watch. I really hope, because them turning this into a full-length feature film, it's not happening. Let's just acknowledge that right now. It's not going to happen. Sony already has their Uncharted plans. They're going to move ahead with those. But what I would love to see is if they got the blessing from Sony to turn this into a separate web series. Oh my God. New episode once a month, so you don't have to put tons of money into it. You don't have to put tons of it. Just once a month, a new 15-minute episode, 10 to 15-minute episode once a month. So like 12 episodes a year. That would be awesome. It would become one of the most popular things, I think, in online streaming. If you turn this Nathan Fillion, Stephen Lang rendition of Uncharted into an ongoing web series, you wouldn't even have to, like, if you did one episode a month, you don't have to take up a lot of Nathan Fillion's time because he's got a new TV show coming called The Rookie. So he's going to be busy. You're not taking up too much of Stephen Lang's time. You know, you probably got to shoot 2 or 3 days a month. If that, if you plot it out properly, maybe you can even do all your shooting in one day. Who knows? But so you're not taking up too much time. You're not spending too much money. Turn into a monthly new episode. I think the internet would lose their minds for it. I know I would lose my mind for it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, let's move on to the next topic. And the next topic today comes to us from, speaking of Nathan's, Nathan Nafeek, who writes, Aquaman is going to show its first trailer at Comic-Con this week. And I know there has been some speculation that they also might announce a change in its release date. That would be so cool. But I saw today there's a new poster. So 2 questions. First, what do you think of the new poster? And second, does the December 21st date at the bottom of the poster pretty much confirm that they're not changing dates? Thanks, and bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for the email, Nathan. So yes, this new poster for Aquaman drops. Gotta say, I like the poster. Now, we talked about the poster a little bit on Open Mic yesterday. I like this poster. My one problem with the poster, and this is a bit of a nitpick, kind of unique to me. My one little problem with the poster is this. I'm always saying this to Ray. I prefer when the subject of an image, in this case Aquaman himself, is more prominent in the graphic. So my one little nitpick with this Aquaman poster is I would have liked to have seen Aquaman larger in the graphic. That's my one little nitpick about it, and that's about it. Now, the issue here at hand is, look at the bottom of the poster. It says only in theaters December 21st. So, December 21st is, of course, the release date for Aquaman. That's the advertised release date. Now, we've been talking a little bit in recent weeks about number one, the need for Aquaman to change release dates, but number 2, the possibilities of Aquaman changing release dates. And I said, I believe there is a 5% chance that at Comic-Con, James Wan's going to be up there doing the presentation about Aquaman, and just before he's done, he's going to stop and go, oh, wait. He'll pull a Steve Jobs and go, there's just one more thing. Did we say December 21st? And then the screen comes up, Aquaman in theaters, October 28th, and Hall H loses its mind, and the internet loses its mind, and everybody goes crazy. Well, I think there's a 5% chance that happens. And we talked about recently how Mary Poppins just moved to the same week as Aquaman, Alita, Battle Angel, and Bumblebee, and all this other stuff. And we speculated, only speculation, that maybe one of the reasons that Mary Poppins moved in there was maybe they know through back channels at Warner Brothers that Warner Brothers is planning on moving Aquaman out. Again, I think there's a 5% chance that they're going to announce a change of dates, which means there's a 95% chance they're not. So odds are they're not going to, but I think there's still a 5% chance. Here's the interesting thing. When this poster came out, and it said December 21st, I had a few people tweeting me saying, oh, well, I guess it's official then. They're not changing release dates. I'm like, what are you talking about? This does nothing to prove that they either are or are not changing release dates. This does nothing. Look, it's like saying, oh, you know what? I think they're planning a surprise birthday party for me on Wednesday. And then somebody says, hey, John, we want to take you out for dinner on Wednesday. And then me going, oh, well, I guess that 100% confirms they're not having a surprise birthday party for me on Wednesday because Eddie just said they're taking me to dinner. Well, of course Eddie just said they're taking you to dinner. That's part of the setup for the surprise. Look, all I'm saying is, what did you expect? If they are planning some big, huge, earth-shattering reveal, all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying, if Warner Brothers and DC were planning some big, earth-shattering reveal of a change of release dates at Comic-Con, what, did you expect them to put a different date on the poster they put up before Comic-Con? Did you expect them to put out a new poster and have it say, only in theaters, October 28th, and completely ruin what they're trying to set up at Comic-Con? Of course not. Now, again, that doesn't mean they are going to change release dates, but it also doesn't mean they're not going to change release dates. I say that this poster does nothing to change that belief I have that there is a 5% chance, only 5, but a 5% chance that they are going to announce a change of release dates and shock the world and like make the internet blow their minds. People will go nuts. It would be awesome. 95% chance that they won't. I'm just saying that this poster does nothing to change that. Oh, Eddie just invited me to dinner Wednesday. I guess that means there's no surprise party. Of course that means there still could be a surprise party. It's part of the setup. So again, please, nobody misquote me. Nobody misquote me and said, Campea said they were changing release dates. No, I'm saying I think there's a 5% chance they do. 95% chance they won't, but 5% chance they do, whatever. But the one other thing that I got a kick out of is I had a few people send me this. I'm sure you guys have seen this by now, but I got a kick out of this because a few people sent this to me. Now, I like this poster. Again, my only nitpick is I wish Aquaman was a little bigger in it. I like this poster. However, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this. A few guys sent me this. I could not, I got to admit, I started chuckling a lot when I saw this. It's like, yep, there you go. And actually, I didn't grab it. I should have grabbed it, damn it. Somebody with some pretty good Photoshop skills actually blended into one big poster, the Finding Nemo and the Aquaman poster into one big image. And I tell you what, it looked absolutely flawless. Like I don't know who did it, but somebody online with some pretty good Photoshop skills merged those posters into one poster. And it looked absolutely killer. I was giggling a lot. And again, I'm not mocking the poster. I liked the poster. I just thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty fun, that little comparison. All right, let's move on to the third main topic today. And the third main topic today comes to us from Bruce Wayne Man, who writes, I've been waiting for some news on the Dune remake forever. They announced Denis Villeneuve was going to direct it, which is amazing because I loved Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Sicario, Prisoners, and just about everything he's made. Then there's no news for ages. Today I see that Timothee Chalamet is in talks for the lead role. What I don't see is if that role is in fact Paul Atreides. Also, does this mean the movie is still happening? I wasn't sure after Blade Runner didn't do so well. Thanks. All right, thanks a lot for the question, Bruce. And yeah, so Timothee, I'll never know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Chalamet? Anyway, he was, of course, nominated for Best Actor in Call Me By Your Name last year. And just recently, a trailer for his new film with Steve Carell called Beautiful Boy just came out. And I'm telling you what, it's just a trailer, but I'm starting to think this dude's going to get nominated for Best Actor again. This is a young kid who's got talent coming out of every orifice in his body. He's crazy good. I was blown away just by him in the trailer for Beautiful Boy, let alone his performance in Call Me By Your Name. I mean, this dude is nuts talented. Nuts talented. And seeing that he's right now in talks to play, they're saying the lead role in Dune. So when Bruce Wayne, man, when you ask, is it going to be Paul Atreides? Well, if he's playing the lead role, I mean, I can't imagine he'd be playing anything else. He's first of all, he's the right age to play Paul. Paul is the lead character of the film. I can't see him playing like Duke Atreides or anything like that. He's way too young to play somebody else's father. I don't see him being one of the Fremen. So it would have to be, I mean, I'm just assuming it would have to be the Paul character, right? I mean, I'm just going to make that assumption at that point. Now, you're right. There has been no word or very, very little buzz about the Dune project ever since Blade Runner 2049 pretty much flopped at the box office. And I remember when it didn't do well at the box office, a lot of people speculated, oh, well, now they're not going to do Dune. But, I mean, remember, it's not a director's responsibility to market the film. It's a director, in this case, Denis Villeneuve. It's his responsibility to make the best movie possible. And while I personally didn't super love Blade Runner 2049, I liked it quite a bit. A lot of people love that movie. It got great critical responses. The audience who did see it, not a lot did, but the audience who did see it really enjoyed it. All the director can do is make the best movie possible, and by all indications, he made the best movie possible. Now, whether or not the studio botched the marketing, and they did, I believe the studio botched the marketing. You know, I've said this before, I stand by this today. The main reason I believe that Blade Runner 2049, besides the fact that it's a movie that came 15 years too late, but I believe the main reason Blade Runner 2049 didn't do well at the box office is because they never told the audience once in any of the marketing what the movie was about. They didn't. Go back and watch all the trailers. Not once do they ever tell you what this movie's about. All their trailers are is like, look everybody, Blade Runner's back. And they don't tell you at all what the movie's about. How do you expect people to jump up and go out and spend their money and buy tickets to something that you don't even tell them what the movie's about? I'm not saying spoil the movie, but tell them what the movie's about. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But a lot of people began to speculate that maybe, you know, the silence on the Dune project combined with Blade Runner 2049 not doing so well at the box office, a lot of people began to speculate, oh, is this movie now dead? Apparently, not dead. It is still moving forward. And to be honest, they never said, there was never been any official news, I should say, that ever even remotely sounded like they were canceling the project. There was fan speculation, but there was never any official statement or anything like that that even made it look like they were thinking about canceling the project. So, and I do think the word that they're currently in negotiations with Timothee here, I think that's a pretty solid sign that, yep, they're moving forward with it. And I can't wait. I'll tell you what, I even like that. Remember Sci-Fi? I think it was Sci-Fi. Did that miniseries of their rendition of Dune. I remember William Hurt played the Duke. And I can't remember the name of the actor who played Paul. I really liked the miniseries too. I thought that was great. It's a great story. It's made to be on the big screen in cinema. I can't wait to watch this. You got the right director. It looks like you're getting the right actor on board too. This could be pretty spectacular, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's move on now to the fourth main topic. And oh boy, talking about MoviePass again. All right, this one comes to us from Randy Vine, who writes, I know you love MoviePass, so I'm sure you saw, once again, the stock of the company dropped to record lows. It's now down to 11 cents a share. It was at $38 a share less than a year ago. With all the surcharges, premium prices, and shady dealings, honestly, how much longer does the company have before it goes under? Okay, so just look, on top, we've been talking for a while about how MoviePass's stock has been plummeting. I remember it was a big story when it was at $38 a share, and then it dropped to 38 cents. Well, ever since then, it's continued to fall. Then MoviePass announced all these new changes. Oh, we're going to let you see 3D and IMAX movies for a surcharge, and we're going to have surge pricing for movies and all this kind of stuff. And the price continued to drop. And it has now dropped, according to Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, all the way down to 11 cents a share. This company is now in the position that it's going to get delisted by NASDAQ, because they've got to get their stock back up to over $1, but it's continued to fall down, and now it's down to 11 cents a share. Like, I think if you have $200 in your wallet, you can probably own MoviePass at this point. You can probably buy enough shares to own MoviePass at this point if you had $200. But here's one of the interesting things. I had a discussion with a friend of mine the other day about how, well, MoviePass, though, is still the better deal. And I'm, really? Is it still the better deal? Because here's the thing. I am like most moviegoers. When a new movie comes out, I like going to see a movie opening weekend, and I've been spoiled to the premium theaters. I like seeing films, not in 3D, but I do like seeing films in IMAX. I like seeing films in AMC Prime. Whenever I go to the AMC Burbank 16, I will only go, unless I absolutely can't, I will always go to the AMC Prime theater because it's the best viewing experience. So I said, okay, let's say I want to go to see Skyscraper opening weekend and I want to see it in an AMC Prime or an IMAX or some premium theater, right? Here's the reality of the economics right now, okay? This is the reality of the economics right now. If you use MoviePass to go see Skyscraper on opening weekend on either IMAX, Prime, or in 3D, here's what you're paying. You're paying $10 a month for your MoviePass, plus a $5 upgrade. By the way, that $5 upgrade to see it in Prime or IMAX, I'm hearing some reports from people that it's even more than that. Like it's up to $8, $9 for the Prime. But for this debate, this discussion, let's say it's $5 for the surcharge. So you're paying $10 a month for your MoviePass. Then you're paying $5 for your upgrade to see it in Prime or IMAX. Then you're paying a $5 surcharge because you're seeing it on the opening weekend. Now you've paid $20. All right. And you still do not get to buy your tickets in advance. You still don't get to buy your tickets online, and you don't get to pre-select your seat in advance. That's still all that. Now, with AMC A-List, if I wanted to go see Skyscraper on opening weekend with IMAX, Prime, or in 3D, I'm paying $20 a month for my A-List, but I'm paying $0 for an upgrade, and I'm paying $0 for a surcharge. So it actually comes out to be the same price, $20. Now, that's only if I see one movie this month. If I want to go see, I don't know, let's say next week, I want to go see Mission Impossible Fallout, also on IMAX or Prime or 3D or whatever. Now, I'm paying another $5 upgrade fee with my MoviePass and another $5 surcharge. Now, just to see two movies that month, I'm paying $30 a month for my MoviePass. Just to see two movies that month, whereas I'm still with AMC A-List still at $20. So the funny thing is that even when AMC A-List launched, MoviePass, some people could say, well, MoviePass is still the better deal. Well, no, it's not. You just go see two movies on opening weekends, which is when almost everybody likes to see their movies, in one of the better theaters. You're now paying more for MoviePass and you're getting less. No advanced tickets, no advanced seat selection, can't buy your tickets online, all that kind of stuff. You're paying more for getting less. And I think that reality is what has continued to make the stocks of the company continue to plummet. So how much longer does it have? That's been the $1 million question. I gotta say, no, I still 100% believe MoviePass will not be in existence by the end of the year. I might be wrong about that. That's just speculation. I have no insider information. But I will be shocked if MoviePass still exists by the end of the year. I don't think it will. But that's just me. All right, let's move on to the final emailed in topic today. And the final emailed topic today comes to us from Sean Shackelford, who writes, as a fan of the original manga, I'm looking forward to the Alita Battle Angel movie. There's a lot of great talent behind it, plus the teaser already shows a very faithful adaptation. However, most people don't know what it is and seem to be uninterested. Combine this with its $175 to $200 million budget and packed December, thanks J.J. Abrams, even if the film is great, does it stand a chance? All right, that's a really good question. So we got Alita Battle Angel coming out. And the question is, does it have a chance at success? It's a big question because on a number of levels. Number one, I don't think Robert Rodriguez has put out a good film in a long time. He's clearly got a lot of talent, but it's been a while since I think he's made a good movie. The trailer to me was underwhelming. It was an underwhelming trailer. And I think it got more negative backlash than positive buzz. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it seemed to me like the trailer actually ended up generating negative interest instead of positive interest in the film. On top of all that, when talking about, is this movie destined to fail? You have to work in the fact that has anything like anime-based, manga-based, anything like that ever had any success? Does the North American movie-going audience have any interest in that material? Now, granted, they were horrible movies, but when you look at films like Ghost in the Shell, or you look at things like Dragon Ball, whatever, they're just not movies that the average North American movie-going audience is interested in going to see. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons for that. But reasons aside, it seems like there's a lot of interest, or lack of interest, in seeing these types of movies. Now, the name Alita Battle Angel will carry some IP recognition with a small segment of the movie-going audience, but you're right. In your email, you mentioned it just doesn't seem like a lot of people out there even know what this thing is. And it's true. Most people don't know what it is, and that's okay. Nobody knew what Avatar was before James Cameron put out Avatar, and it ended up being the highest grossing box office film of all time. So that's not necessarily a killer, right? So, I mean, there is all that. Now, however, on the other side, it's not like no films based on manga or anime have ever had any success. I draw your attention to People's Exhibit, Live, Die, Repeat, stupid-ass title, Edge of Tomorrow, which is, of course, based on the much better title, All You Need Is Kill. Seriously, can anybody explain to me why they didn't just keep the title All You Need Is Kill? It's a great title. It's memorable. It sticks in your head. Edge of Tomorrow sounds like a bad NBC soap opera. But anyway, and then it's Live, Die, Repeat. No, it's Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow 2, the day after Fantasia dies. I mean, I have no idea what the hell they were thinking. They so butchered the marketing of that movie. It's unbelievable. But anyway, the movie is great. And while it didn't do stunning business opening weekend, because like I said, they completely crapped all over the marketing for it. They blew the marketing of this movie horribly. But once it got into theaters and people started seeing, oh my God, this movie's really good. It looked like crap because they didn't know how to market it, but it's really good. And it had some legs and it had some success. So yeah, there's a lot of examples of like movies in this kind of vein not doing well, but there is an example, People's Exhibit, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, Forever, My God, Look at My Butt movie. There's an example that, wait a minute, that can succeed. There can be success here. So I'm not really sure. Now, some people stay enthusiastic about it because James Cameron's producing it. James Cameron isn't spending 5 minutes on the set of this movie. James Cameron has been completely wrapped up and doing his not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Avatar sequels. He's been completely, because he's producing and writing and directing those. He's been completely wrapped up in that. This movie is going to be Robert Rodriguez's movie. It'll have James Cameron's name all over it because it's James Cameron, but it's going to be Robert Rodriguez's movie. Make no mistake about it. So, the question is this movie just doomed to fail? And keep in mind that production budget. With a production budget of about $175 million, you're talking about a movie now that needs to make somewhere in the neighborhood of $475 million just to break even. I don't know if it can do that, to be honest with you. So there are some negatives. There's a positive example like Edge of Tomorrow that shows stuff like this can work. So that brings us to today's question of the day. And today's question of the day for you guys is really simple. It's about Alita Battle Angel, and the question is this: is Alita Battle Angel doomed to fail? And you got 2 options. 1, yes, it is doomed to fail. Or no, it has a legit chance. Not that it will succeed, but it has a legit chance to succeed. So maybe you say, you're the type of person who says, yes, it's doomed to fail because the North American audience has shown no interest in these types of movies. You know, Robert Rodriguez hasn't done a good film in a while. The production budget's too big, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe you're like, no, it has a legit chance to succeed. Look at a movie like Tom Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, Forever, Amen. Look at that movie. It succeeded. It was so it has a chance. So that's the question today. Is Alita Battle Angel doomed to fail? Yes, it is doomed to fail. No, it's not doomed to fail. It has a legit chance to succeed. Look in the description of this video. At the very bottom of this video description, you will find a link to where you guys go and vote for what you think the answer to that question is. We will, of course, sum up your answers on tomorrow's show. But let me go over right now, because I'm sure some of you have already started voting. And let me check here. Right now, the voting for Is Alita Battle Angel Doomed to Fail stands at, okay, about 100 of you guys have voted already. And right now, 81.4% of you are saying it's doomed to fail. 18.5% of you are saying it has a legit chance to succeed. Now, that's just early. On yesterday's question of the day about Scarlett Johansson and was it a good or a bad move for her to step down, it was really lopsided at first, but then by the time we got to today, it was actually quite close. This voting could still end up being close. Once again, look in the description of this video. The link is at the bottom of the description. Go over there, cast your vote. Is Alita Bad Angel doomed to fail? Yes, it is. No, it has a chance to succeed. Let me know what you guys think in there. Okay. With all of that out of the way now, guys, we got just a couple of minutes left, and we're going to use those few minutes to take some live questions from you guys. So let's get things started here with the first live question today. And the first live question today comes to us from Geo, who writes, even though you didn't like Lady Bird, which I loved, do you think Greta Gerwig is a talented director? I thought it was the best film of 2017. Well, to be honest with you, let me just bring up something here. So Greta Gerwig, who of course was the director behind Lady Bird, a film that everybody else on the planet loved, and I am one of the very, very, very few idiots out there who did not like it at all. I thought it was a boring snooze fest, but I am completely alone in that. Everybody else loved that movie. Everybody loved it. It got nominated for Best Picture. I think Greta got nominated for Best Director for it. I thought it was an unbearable snore fest. But again, I am alone in that opinion. Don't listen to me. Everybody else loved it. Okay, so just take that with a grain of salt. If you're going to ask me, is she a good director? Well, it's tough for me to say because the only film I've seen her direct is Lady Bird, and I hated the film. So I didn't feel it was a well-directed film. But again, I am alone in that opinion. But it is my opinion. Now, look, I could play the game of make sure I say what everybody else agrees with so I don't look bad, but all I have to give you guys is my honest opinion, so I'm just going to be honest. I know it makes me look stupid sometimes, but hey, at least you always know when I tell you what my opinion is, you know that's what my opinion is. My opinion is I didn't like Lady Bird. So, no, I don't think so far that she's a very good director. Now, she's got another film coming out called Little Women. That will be the second film of hers I get to see her direct. And maybe then my opinion will start to change. But it's difficult to form an opinion about what do I think of a director when all I've seen is one film. No matter how good or how bad that film is, it's tough to form an opinion when all you've seen is one film of theirs. Because maybe if it's a good film, they just got lucky. Maybe if it's a bad film, they just had one bad day. I mean, so it's hard. So I don't want to say I don't like Greta Gerwig as a director because I've only seen one movie of hers, but I haven't liked the one movie I saw, so we're at that. Okay, next up, Curtis Lopez writes, when will you see Christopher Robin? I don't know. They haven't sent out the screening invitations for it yet, but oh my God, I'm so excited to see that. That is looking so awesome. I know you guys have been getting excited to see it too, but I will let you know when I have a chance to see it. Andrew Oldham writes, someone else who would have beaten Thanos, that little old lady in the grocery store who said, you're goddamn right, is what that little old lady said to me when you thought she was going to kick your ass. Dude, that is one of my favorite stories ever. That lady was just awesome. She just made my month when I met her. I gotta get a t-shirt that says that, I think. I gotta get a t-shirt that says it. I'm glad you remember the story, Andrew. Thanks for bringing it up. James Hayusa writes, you should come visit New Orleans one day, John. It'd be an honor to meet you somewhere if I ever bump into you. Also, still having Schnepp in my prayers. I would love to go to New Orleans sometime. I would love to. I mean, it's tough to travel and it's expensive to travel. And then when I travel, how do I do my shows and all that kind of stuff? But I would love to go to New Orleans someday. My mom and dad went to New Orleans once and they loved it. They loved it. They said it was awesome. And, you know, a couple of TV shows I've watched take place in New Orleans, like The Originals takes place in New Orleans. One season of Preacher, like Preacher Season 2, takes place in New Orleans. So it's really cool New Orleans. I would love to visit it someday whenever I get the chance. I'll certainly let everybody know if I ever do get a chance to go down there. James Welsh writes, thoughts on the announced live-action Rugrats film? Yeah, I saw that they announced a Rugrats film. To be honest, I know nothing about Rugrats. I never watched a single episode. I never watched... Did they have an animated movie? I can't even remember if they had an anime. I think they might have had an animated movie. Anyway, so I have no opinion. I have nothing to offer as far as an opinion on that because I just don't know anything about it. So, hey, it's a recognizable IP. A lot of people, I think, grew up watching Rugrats, so I could see the business proposition of it. I could see why it makes business sense to do something like that. But as somebody who's never watched Rugrats, I really can't offer any kind of a valid opinion at any rate. James follows it up with, Assassination Nation just dropped. Seen it? No, actually, just as I was starting it, actually, I'm opening my email right now. There's an email right here saying, Assassination Nation, watch here. So I just got the notification for it. So I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, unfortunately, because I was busy this morning getting everything ready for today's show. Where is it? Santos Andujar writes, started watching The Office. Wow, what a great show. I'm really happy for you. I'm so glad you started watching The Office. It is, without question, top 3 greatest sitcoms of all time. Maybe the greatest sitcom of all time. I mean, there's a debate to be had between Seinfeld and The Office as the greatest sitcom ever. That's not to take away from great sitcoms like Cheers or Frasier or like whatever other your favorite sitcoms were, but Archie Bunker. The Office and Seinfeld to me are the 2 greatest sitcoms ever, and I'm so glad you had a chance to start watching. I love that show. I can come home, I've told the story before, but I can come home any day, or Ann and I can be laying in bed any night and just go, let's just put on Hulu or Netflix, it's on both, and just pick some random episode of The Office and just hit play, and we know we're going to laugh. And it's just really great when you got stuff like that. Big jump. Let's get back up here. Devontae Brown writes, thoughts on those letters from a paraplegic actress. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Thoughts on, you probably meant to say the letter from a paraplegic actress to Dwayne Johnson pleading him to say no to roles like Skyscraper in the future. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what's going on, so Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in a new movie right now called Skyscraper. And in it, he plays a guy who lost a leg while in action. He was like an FBI SWAT team member. He was also in the military, and he lost a leg in action. And so the movie is about him, and he has one prosthetic leg, at least from the knee down. It's a prosthetic leg. Now, there's this thing getting all the headlines because everybody loves to complain. From this one woman who wrote an open letter, and all the news sites are carrying it now, saying you knew it was coming. It's the slippery slope. Basically, it's saying, unless you're somebody who's actually physically disabled in some way, you shouldn't take disabled roles. And you know what I think about that? I think that notion is ridiculous. I think actors, their jobs are to play people and things they are not. That's what the job of acting is. Now, the other thing is, too, that there's been a lot of things, although it hasn't been carried a lot in the news, but there are some stories out there that all these organizations that represent disabled people, whatever the proper term is, I don't know, forgive me, but really celebrating the movie and celebrating Dwayne Johnson doing it and celebrating all that. The vast majority are celebrating it because it's a movie that portrays somebody with a disability in a positive action hero light, showing them being the hero of the day. And that's great. And most people seem to be embracing that and celebrating it. However, you are, of course, bound to get somebody who will complain about it. But you guys know my feelings on that. This is the movie business. You know, and you get an actor to play a role, to highlight something, and we should celebrate that. To say that somebody playing a role needs to be whatever that role's character is, I reject that notion. Look, I understand the arguments being made for it, whether it's about the Scarlett Johansson issue, whether it's about this Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson issue. I reject that, I believe, flawed logic. This is the movies. This is make-believe. This is pretend land. And instead of using headlines and time and attention to tear down and attack a movie that is doing, by the way, Skyscraper is a movie that is doing something that hardly any movies in history have ever done. Making somebody with a disability the hero. And showing them doing remarkable things and awesome things. And we should be celebrating that they're portraying characters like that in that light. And instead, we're wasting our headlines talking about how Dwayne Johnson shouldn't have taken that role. Oh, come on. Come on. This is make-believe. It's fantasy land. It's the movies. And here we are, instead of celebrating that we've got, like most people are celebrating that, yes, we've got a movie that has the lead character as a disabled person who's the hero and doing all these badass things and portraying us as strong and being the hero and celebrating that. Instead, we're wasting our fucking time complaining that he shouldn't have played that role. Instead of celebrating what a huge thing forward this is, we're wasting our time talking about this shit. And look, I get it. I get there are arguments about that, and I get it that there are concerns. I understand that. But it's just so fucking irritating that there's this one little headline, right? That I said there was a small little headline that hardly anybody carried from yesterday about the Rock being at this disabled hospital and like watching a screening of it with like these war vets and disabled people and them cheering and loving it and seeing themselves portrayed on screen in a heroic, strong, enabled way and celebrating that. Whole hospital full of people cheering it and loving it. But what's getting the headlines? What's getting the headlines is somebody complaining that Dwayne Johnson shouldn't have been in that movie because he actually has two legs. I don't know. Again, to me, it's an issue of, oh my God, here we finally have a movie that does what almost no movies have ever done, with very few exceptions. Showing somebody with a physical disability as the big, strong, awesome hero, saving the day and blah, blah, blah. And instead of celebrating that, which there are tons of people celebrating it, but people celebrating it are getting these tiny little headlines while somebody's complaining that The Rock shouldn't have been in that movie. To me, it's so counterproductive. And anyway, that's just me. Anyway, that's just me. But it's the movies, folks. It's make-believe land. It's fairy tale land. Anyway. Okay, let's move on. Andrew Gifford writes, similar to Quicksilver, why not have an adult Peter Parker in the Sony universe while Marvel Studios keeps their Spidey? Because they can't. It's like, unlike the Quicksilver situation between Marvel and Fox, it was in only Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were the only two characters that, for whatever reason, in that deal between Marvel and Fox, that divided up who got what characters. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were the only two characters that within the language of that contract allowed both studios to use those characters if they so chose. The deal between Marvel and Sony is not like that. The deal between Marvel and Sony right now, where Sony is allowing Marvel to have Spider-Man in the MCU, restricts Sony from having their own live-action Spider-Man at the same time. Which is understandable, because that undermines, if Sony had a live-action Spider-Man going, it undermines what Marvel's doing with a live-action Spider-Man in the MCU. So there's no option to do that. They can't do that. So why not do that? Because it would be counterproductive for both parties. It would cause some confusion, and the contract and the deal between them restrict that. They can't do it. The only way Sony can have live-action Spider-Man in their live-action universe again is if they end their deal with Marvel. Which they might, because the deal ends after Spider-Man Far From Home. After Spider-Man Far From Home, the deal's over. Now, I think they should extend that deal, and I think the likelihood is that Marvel and Sony will both recognize this has been good for both of us, let's extend this deal. And I think they'll extend the deal, but there's a possibility that they won't, and that they might take him back. But barring that, Sony can't have a live-action Spider-Man as long as they're letting Marvel use him. They have to stop having Spider-Man in the MCU for them to do that. So it's a different arrangement. It's a different deal, different legal requirements. Okay, Abraham Asif writes, trailer for Glass comes out on Friday. Yes, they put out a trailer for the trailer today. I hate trailers for trailers. But they put out a little 15-second tease today. Who cares? But it was basically to announce that on Friday at Comic-Con, they're launching. We've known for a while they're launching the new trailer at Comic-Con. It's coming Friday. I'm very excited about it. Ever since I saw that picture of Samuel Jackson dressed as Mr. Glass in that slick purple suit, that was awesome. I've been really excited for it. So yes, that comes out on Friday. Let's see. Santez Henderson writes, Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Says Obi-Wan Kenobi. The fool who follows him. I love that line. Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? It's the fool who follows him is the more foolish, and that's what Obi-Wan was trying to say. I love the quote, by the way, Sentez. Well done. Cameron Peterson writes, Could the Nathan Fillion fan film have the same effect as the Deadpool released footage? Maybe studios will ditch the Holland idea and stick with Fillion. No, they won't do that. Like, again, the studios know that, hey, it's nothing to make a short 10 to 15 minute thing look good. That's easy. That's easy. And unfortunately, look, don't get me wrong. If they announced tomorrow that they were going to go ahead and make a Nathan Fillion Uncharted film, I would be excited. I would be totally down for it. I don't see them doing that because, like I said, Nathan Fillion is 47 years old. It's tough to start a new franchise. He's already older than the character's supposed to be. So, and he couldn't do the character for another 10 years or anything like that. So I doubt they'll do it, although I'd be all for it. Although, there is the theory going around that secretly Sony actually financed this little fan film to see what the audience response to it would be. There is this tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theory out there that secretly Sony is actually behind this Nathan Fillion Uncharted little fan film. And that they just secretly did that to see, would the audience be into this? Now, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that theory for a second. But it's an interesting theory, and if it is true, if the theory was true, then you probably would be seeing this happening, but I don't see that happening. Again, I think the best thing we could hope for would be for like a Sony to give their blessing to say, you know what, turn this into a web series. I think it would work great as a web series. I really do. But I'd be down for a movie too. Would have to see. Cameron Pearson writes, also Lang as Sully is perfection. Dude, I almost think that Stephen Lang as Sully was even more perfect casting than Nathan Fillion as Drake. Like, when I was watching the fan film, I'm like, holy shit, that's Stephen Lang! I got so excited. He's perfect. I actually sat down with Stephen Lang a little over a year ago. That dude is still butch as hell. Like, his shoulders, like, this dude's ripped. He is huge. He's still a legit action star. Look, Josh Brolin did great as Cable in Deadpool 2. I still think Stephen Lang should have been Cable. I still think Stephen Lang should have been Cable. But hey, that's just me. Josh Brolin did a great job. He did a great job. Sam Solomon writes, hopefully Uncharted will have the same result like how when Deadpool test footage was accidentally leaked. Again, don't forget, guys, Sony already has an Uncharted movie in the works. So they're not about to pull the plug on this movie. And they got Tom Holland in it. Rumors are they've got Bryan Cranston in it. They've got a solid director lined up to do it. So they've already got an Uncharted movie in the works. That's already coming. I don't see them pulling the plug on that for this. Ethan Canistra writes, just watched Force Awakens. Happy JJ is returning. Yeah, I'm happy JJ's returning too. I thought JJ did a great job with Star Wars Force Awakens. I love that film. It was one of those films where I liked it more and more and more every time we saw it. And I remember there was like a stretch of 3 days in a row. John Schnepp and I, we were just, because right across the street from my studio was the AMC Burbank 16. And it was like 3 days in a row that Schnepp and I ended up going to see Star Wars Force Awakens. Want to go see Force Awakens again? Yeah. And we'd walk over and go watch Force Awakens again. And I remember us talking just about how, you know what, this movie gets better and better every time we see it. Every time. The only thing that got worse and worse to me was that damn Han Solo with the Rathtars scene. I thought that scene should have just been cut out of the movie. I thought it was a terrible, terrible scene. And that scene gets worse to me every time I see it. But aside from that, I love that film. It gets better to me every time I see it. But yeah. So I was pleased. I would have been okay with another director as well, but I was pleased to see JJ coming back. Catch22 writes, who wins the box office this weekend, Mamma Mia 2 or Equalizer 2? I'm going to say Mamma Mia 2. Because, hold on a second. Mamma Mia. The first Mamma Mia, guys, it made over $600 million at the box office. Right? $600 million at the box office. The Equalizer, the first one, made a respectable little, just under $200 million, $192 million on a $55 million budget. It did fine. But Mamma Mia made over $600 million. So as much as the one I'm going to get in line for to see is Equalizer 2, I don't think there's any question. I think Mamma Mia, here we go again, is going to win the box office. It's going to win the box office. I'd be shocked. I'll be shocked if it doesn't. Let's see. Leo Milmet writes, thoughts on My Friend Dahmer. Great movie. You know what? I don't remember it. I cannot recall it. Let me just pull it up here. What is it? My Friend Dahmer. It's a 2017 film. You know what? I didn't see it. So I cannot comment on it. So sorry about that. Let's see. Next one. Wayne Clark writes, hey, John, are the reports of Tom Holland's Uncharted film being in the same universe as the games true? If so, I think it's beyond stupid. I doubt it. What does that even mean? It's in the same universe as the games. I don't even know what that means. I mean, it's movies based on the games. So it's going to be based on the games. Being in the same movies of the game? I've never heard that. I mean, again, I don't follow all the gaming news sites, so I'm not sure. But then again, isn't every video game movie kind of in the universe of the video games in a way? I'm not exactly sure what it is you're asking, Wayne Clark, but I mean, all I know is that it's based on the games. It's going to be based on some of the story points in some of the games. Whether that means it's in the same universe or not, I'm not really sure. So I haven't seen any reports like that. I'd have to read the reports to know specifically what it is they're talking about. So off the top of my head, I haven't heard that, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So let's just kind of wait and see. Interesting question, Wayne. If you find out any more, please email me and let me know what you find out. Leo Milmet writes, favorite non-Star Wars 1970s movie? Mine are Network, Clockwork Orange, Godfather, Last Picture Show, American Graffiti Taxi. Well, I mean, it's far too big of a topic, Leo, to go into. Obviously, Godfather. Obviously, I do love Network. I'm glad you mentioned Network. Network is pretty damn good. But I would, just off the top of my head, I can't differentiate between 60s, 70s, and 80s, whatever. I would have to sit down and make a list. But some of the ones you mentioned are completely good. You know what the funny thing is? I'm not as big on Taxi Driver as everybody else is. Don't get me wrong, I like Taxi Driver. I flew to New York for the special anniversary screening of Taxi Driver to interview Martin Scorsese. Dennis and I got on a plane, flew to New York for the event. It was a great event, blah, 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 and I liked the film. But, you know, a lot of people consider it like a top 10 greatest movies of all time. I wouldn't have it up there that high, but I know a lot of people do. Leo Milmet follows up with, favorite movie decade. Mine's the 40s, 50s, 70s, number one, and the 90s. Again, I'd have to think about it. I don't walk around that with that like kind of filed in my head as what's my favorite decade of movies. Maybe the 80s. My first thought is to say the 80s, but again, don't hold me to that because I would actually have to sit down and you know think about it a little bit. But off the top of my head, I'll say 80s. Andrew Gifford writes, can't wait for Joaquin's Joker. In these times, a man spiraling into madness seems a lot scarier than a Joker shrouded in mystery. We've been talking about this for a while now. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, I think, sounds and feels amazing. I cannot wait for it. Him playing it, him talking about reading the script, and it's scaring the shit out of him, he said. I think that sounds amazing. I'm excited for it. I really am. I'm very, very excited for it. Can't wait for it. Let's see here. The friendly, and guys, if you haven't sent in a question, you notice today's show's going long because I've already got so many questions in my queue that I need to get caught up on companion videos. I don't want to add any more questions to companion videos, so I'm going to push through and finish out all the questions that I've sent in today. The friendly film fan writes, have you seen the trailer for Boy Erased that dropped this morning? And what did you think? Joel Edgerton's first film, and what do you think of Joel Edgerton's first film, The Gifted? Well, I haven't seen Boy Erased trailer yet because, like I said, I've been busy this morning. But I love The Gift. I thought The Gift was great. And Joel Edgerton, first of all, the fact that he directed it makes people forget about how good he was actually in the film, right? And The Gift was wonderful. And they had one of the coolest marketing campaigns ever for that. And it was a very well put together film, beautifully directed movie. I'm very excited to see him progress and grow as a director because that first film knocked our socks off. Want to see if it was just lucky? Did he just get first timers luck? Or is he actually that naturally good at directing? We're going to have to wait and see. Mike Carlos writes, after watching the first screening of The Avengers, am I the only one who thought that everyone after the snap just disappeared? Thanos didn't say he was going to kill half the universe. Well, but other people did. Like, Gamora, who has known Thanos her whole life, said that's what he was doing. And the people didn't just disappear. It's not like he snapped his fingers and just, boop, they disappeared. They turned to ash and dust. They died. I mean, you saw, the one thing that made the Spider-Man scene so great, and my apologies, for those of you who didn't see Infinity War yet, and you've all seen Infinity War by now, but for those of you who didn't see Infinity War yet, I'm going to get into a touch of a spoiler here. But Spider-Man was dying, right? He didn't just, whoop, disappear. He died. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I want to go. You can feel it. He was dying. Like, and like Drax, Quill, and like he could feel it. He didn't just, boop, disappear. You could see him evaporating. So, look, it's possible. You're not the only one, Mike, that I've heard have that theory. It is possible that they'll do some kind of cheap cop-out. No, everybody, they just disappeared to another dimension. They could do that. They might do that. I don't think it's what they're doing, but you're not alone in that thought, Mike. There are other people who have that theory as well. We'll have to wait and see. We don't have that long to wait till Avengers 4 to get the answers. Nerd Polmicist writes, have you seen Ryan Murphy's Pose on FX? It has been renewed for a second season. Never watched it. I don't watch an awful lot of TV, to be honest with you. So I have not seen. I did see the news that it got renewed, which gets me a little bit more interested in seeing it. But I have not seen the show yet myself. Dave Atkins writes, where's that Filipino fury you promised from Anne? I never promised it. I'd say you've got to avoid the Filipino fury as much as possible. You do not want to have 105 pounds of Filipino fury unleashed on you. Believe me when I tell you that. I don't want it. You don't want it. Believe me. Sean Carson writes, did you see the American Animals? If so, thoughts? Nope, didn't get around to seeing American Animals, to be honest with you. And final question of the day. Dakota Barber writes, saw You Were Never Really Here on Amazon today. Is it on Amazon already? What a powerful, disturbing film. Joaquin was great, and the score gave me chills. It's my top of the year. I love the film. It's not in my top 5 of the year or anything. Well, I'd have to think about that. But if you want to get really excited about Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker, go watch You Were Never Really Here. Watch him in that, and then imagine this guy playing an incarnation of the Joker. It'll give you chills. It'll completely give you, and I didn't even know it was on Amazon already. That's interesting. Okay, that'll do it for me, guys, for today's installment of the John Campea Show. I went a little bit long because, like I said, I'm trying not to add any more questions to the companion videos because I still got like 50 questions I got to get through. So thanks for bearing with me, guys, and putting up with me. Hey, guys, listen, do me a favor. The only reason this show is even around is because of the contributions, both of the people, you guys who contribute on Super Chat, but also because of my Patreon supporters. Do me a favor, if you like my shows, will you do me a favor and just go to patreon.com/John Campea and just get the information. Just get the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter, how being a Patreon supporter keeps this show on the air, and what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter. And then maybe you'll decide to be a Patreon supporter too and be one of the reasons to keep this show on the air. And I thank you for that very much. All right, guys. That will do it for me. Don't forget, I'll be back a little bit later today with Open Mic at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to try to play a little bit of Warcraft later today too. So that'll be fun. Keep your eyes open for that. That'll do it for me. My name's John Campea. And until the next video, bye-bye.